friends, Christy here with Little Roots Ranch, and happy fall. And so it's the end of September garden tour, so I wanted to show you around my garden and show you what I've got going on. But one thing I want to show you is the farm stands coming along. So let's go there first and I'll show you that. Hold on. Okay, so here we've got a whole lot of horse manure. And then here we've got the wood chips all spread out, and this will be the eventual parking lot for all the cars that are dying to buy my produce. Yes, this was supposed to be done by June, but life is crazy. But look how pretty. It's that's the farm stand so far. The roof is over there, still working on painting it. But it's gonna be purple and white because, well, it's my favorite color. And then we got to get the fridge in there and all that stuff, and obviously still cleaning up. But let me show you a different area I'm working on. Okay, so these are some of the raised beds in the front yard of my house. And this one in particular, I'm really excited because I'm going to grow winter wheat. And so I just cleaned out, there was carrot seeds, carrot that had gone to seed, and parsnips as well. And so I cleared this out. I've still got a few more parsnips to go. And then I'm gonna rake in some winter wheat seeds. They're really old, actually. I've been meaning to plant them. Obviously, it's not gonna be a whole lot, but it's kind of a small experiment because I'd really like to grow my own wheat and save the wheat berries and then grind them up as needed and stuff and make my own flour and all that. But anyway, so I wanted to show you that just to let you know that experiment time, and I'm really excited about that. And then I'll take you over to the front garden and show you that. Okay, so this is the front garden, or the people garden, because it's up by my house. And so back there, you can see I've got some lilies. Lilies are one of my favorite flowers. They're just so beautiful. And then, you know, this front garden has kind of gone wild. It generally does. Every year it kind of takes over, and I save a lot of the seeds that come out of it. And so it kind of gets neglected, and I clean it up in the spring. So it's looking a little crazy. I'll let you know in advance. But anyways, let's see. Here's my white Russian kale through there, and powdery mildew is taking it over. You see the dark green in the back right there? That's the dinosaur kale. That's doing fabulous. Here we've got some little babies. These are fava beans that I'm gonna put in the greenhouse, some outside, some inside, and have them overwinter. These are some Swiss chard that need to get transplanted. They're not doing so well. And then these are baby white Russian that I forgot to water a couple times and it didn't go so well. So, you know, it happens. But yeah, I have these purple beans that are really pretty. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see, that's a weed obviously here, but see all these purple beans here. I've been picking lots and lots of beans. Let's see, over here, this path. Boy, I just got a lot going on here. Some rhubarb, lettuce, celery, Swiss chard. A lot of it's going to seed. Back there is like where all of the borage and nasturtiums. The nasturtiums are coming in. You can see all the bright yellow, but everything's kind of going crazy right there. Got my little bird bath right there. I make sure and empty that out every day so that way I don't get mosquitoes. But yeah, this is where the onions were. Some of them are still in there. They're trying to dry. They're actually coming back to life. I ended up having a whole bunch of extra onions, and I was gonna wait to pick them, and then I waited too long. And so that's fun. We've got here a red dahlia. Planted this from seed 2 years ago, and I didn't think it would make it through the winter, especially the last winter we had, but it did really well. And then here are some more green beans. I did a video, I think, when I planted these, but you can see them. I've been picking from these extensively. Yeah, I did bush beans because I didn't want to mess with trellis, because I knew me and I knew I was too busy to mess with trellis. So I didn't mess with trellis. The yield's a little bit lower, but depending on your situation, it may work better for you. And then look at these huge sunflowers. Let's see. These are all volunteer tomatoes. I don't know if you can see all the cherry tomatoes through there. They're all volunteer. But look at this guy. It's bigger than my head. Interesting thing about sunflowers is that it's not one giant flower. It's a bunch of like small, tiny flowers. I don't know if you can see it on there, but you see all those tiny little flowers? And so that's something that makes the sunflower unique. And each of those flowers will turn into a sunflower seed. Yummy. And I'll enjoy that as well as the chickens. Let's see, we'll go back here. I can't believe it's already, September? The end of September, which is really crazy. I'm kind of ready for the rain. Oh, they're turkeys. I'm gonna be walking by them, so they might be loud. Hi, boys. Who's mama's babies? Who's mama's babies? You're not gonna do that. Are you guys being shy? Well, apparently they're being shy. But today's Saturday night, so tomorrow is the CSA. So this area will be jam-packed tomorrow, getting all the orders placed and stuff like that. So I gotta make sure I get a good night's sleep. We'll come back here to the chicken garden really doesn't look the same or any different from the last tour, in that what I need to do, so how I used to have it was that, ooh, the sun looks all bright. I'll turn it this way, then you can't see me. So what I did before was I have this fence here. I don't know if you can see it, but it runs across. I can put it over so it runs the whole length. And then there's a little door in the wall of the chicken yard, and I let the chickens in here. And so they keep it weed free. It's not right now, obviously. There's a bunch of lettuce that has gone to seed, and I pulled out the tomatoes and the potatoes and all that stuff, but there's grass and all of that. Excuse me. And so I'll let the chickens out there, and then sorry, the lighting's all weird, but I'll let the chickens out there, and then they'll love to turn it over for me. But then in the spring I'll have a beautiful weed-free bed. But yeah, let me take you back. We'll do the sheep garden, and then the pig garden, and then the greenhouse. So just a sec. Okay, so we're at the sheep garden. Do you see all those beautiful dahlias behind me? Oh, they make me so happy. I haven't done a great job of deadheading the flowers, so a lot of them are dying on the stem and then not being as productive, but it's also, they were really late to come out of the ground this year. I was almost worried they weren't going to, but they're so pretty. And then here in the front, I have, that's my delicata squash right through there. I don't know if you can see snippets of it. And so I love delicata squash. And then I've also got butternut squash. And you know the thing about butternut, see, here's some butternuts right there and right there. And I grow a really small variety because the dates to maturity are so long. But boy, they just started like producing female flowers and fruit, well, vegetables, whatever. I was really worried it wasn't going to happen because I was like, sometimes I plant things and then I don't remember, because I couldn't remember if I did butternut squash or acorn squash. And so then, of course, once I started seeing them, I was like, oh yeah, it is butternut squash. But yeah, you can see that, and you can see the lightening of the leaves and some powdery mildew in through there. I know there's ways that you can fight it, and some people do that. Personally, I don't. I've got the powdery mildew is really bad over here, but these plants are almost done. And so that's kind of the reason I just let it go. It's the season, and I feel like it's going to happen anyways. And I haven't noticed by now all my fruit or vegetables, squashes are set, and they're just like hardening off or whatever. And so there isn't like a damage. If the plant was like small and just starting, well, I guess I'd probably just scrap it and start with a new one that's healthier. But you know what I mean? Like, so if you treat, I've heard a lot of feedback on treating the powdery mildew with a 2-to-1. I can't remember if it's water to milk or milk to water solution. I've heard that works really well. I just personally haven't, I just let it go. But you can see there all of the spaghetti squashes. So pretty. Then over here are some cucumbers. I've got blown cucumbers. And then my carrots. And then some more lettuce. And look at those beautiful flowers. There's beans in there too, a little bit further back. And then behind me, this is the berry patch. And I'm actually getting berries, which is really exciting. I've got here, look at all of these raspberries here. And so I need to do weeding, obviously, but we got a lot of raspberries. The weeding is really hard to keep up on. I think that's what I struggle with the most. And then we'll come over to the pig garden. For those of you that know, I've got the gardens named to what they were next to. But here I've got my popcorn, and it's getting close to being ready to pick. Let's see here. You can see right there, it's starting to turn yellow. I can see if it's firm. Oh, it's pretty firm. I bet that one's ready to pick. Maybe I need to get out here soon. I love popcorn. It's my first year growing popcorn, so I wasn't sure. And I've picked most of my beans that were underneath. These are my zucchini plants all throughout here. And boy, I'll tell you what, I've never had plants as crazy as these ones. I mean, they have not stopped producing. I mean, they've been produced. They were my first and only succession. I did plan to have 2 successions, but I got too busy, and I guess that worked out nicely. But just look at all of these zucchinis. I don't know if you can see all of them. And like that one's still standing. Most of them have fallen over. But just so many zucchinis. I personally can't believe it. And then these rows here, yeah, you can see. These rows here are all of my seedlings. I've got spinach just popping up in the middle right here. And then these are, of course, lettuce. And then I don't remember what brassica is back there, probably like a broccoli or cauliflower or something. Same here. I think another brassica and Swiss chard to go into the winter. And then there's lettuce planted down the middle, maybe arugula. I'm really bad at taking notes, and so I just wait till it pops up, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it is. I know what I planted. I'm not exactly sure which specific row. See, this looks like spinach as well. And then again, I think these are Brussels sprouts. And then you've got, see in the far back, like back there-ish area, in this whole row are some Asian greens. This is like a tot soy here. And then this is Tokyo Bakena, which is like a separated Chinese celery kind of, but not exactly it looks like celery, but I don't know how to explain. It's just really good. These are regular bok choys. And then over there are Chinese cabbage. For this tarped area, I've still got it tarped. And I'm still on the fence. I'm thinking about opening it up for garlic in October, November. But I had a lot of grass there, and so I'm apprehensive to like pull the cover early. So I don't know if I'll end up doing it or not. Like I go back and forth. Some days I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. It's been on there since August. And sometimes I'm like, well, if it's been there this long, why not just carry it through? And so I'm like, But, and then look at these beets. I've got beets for days. There's some, oh shoot, what are those called? Why am I blanking? Radicchio? But I've got all my beets right here. The bigger ones in the front are the red beets, and then the back are the yellow beets. And then these are, I think these are cabbage. They might be Brussels sprout. Now I'll have to wait till I get bigger to fully know. But look at some of these huge beets. So they're doing really good. I mean, look at this beet. This beet is a monster. I don't know if you can see that, but there's my hand like next to it. It's a really big beet. And that's actually, I'm thinking of doing something in the people garden in the front. What's funny is I planted these beets, I think mid-August, direct seeded. And the beets in the front, I had planted, some of them I started actually from transplant, like back from like March, April, whenever. And then also had direct sown them. And I noticed this stuff in the front just doesn't grow as well. And you might notice that sometimes like in your own yard, like where things just don't grow as well in like every area or whatever. And so I think I need to get the soil tested and find out. I know I received some bad compost that I put in the front 3 or 2 years ago, and it turned the ground into literal like concrete. Like I could not get through it. And I don't know like what's causing that. And I think I'm still suffering from effects of that. I'm no till. I did think about doing like a one-time till to break it up. I don't know. But then I also, this is kind of an interesting thing. I actually thought about just scrapping it and putting in some raised beds, like some larger ones, and doing a you-pick flower garden and with an entrance right next to the farm stand, so like families could come and pick flowers. So I think I might do that. And then I want the raised bed to try and help like deter foot traffic or whatever, you know. But anyways, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. That's kind of something I'm throwing around, so don't tell anyone, even though I just told everyone. But here's some finely cultivated thistle, pure organic thistle. I hate thistle. Here are carrots. Look at all of these beautiful carrots. They're so gorgeous. Hi guys. Just pick the littlest one to dig out. Look at that big guy. Oh, and I got some mushrooms here. I get a lot of mushrooms back here, which I take as good. So here's like a little mushroom thing. One thing I do want to grow is I want to add mushrooms to like the forest back there with logs and stuff. Here's some of my lettuce. I don't know where these guys are just growing randomly in the pathway. And there's some broccoli, cabbage. This cabbage is so pretty. Let me just come around. Here are the onions. If you watch my video on testing the onions, those are the 4 different types. And I'm going to overwinter them there and then transplant them. But look at, there's cobwebs on it, but look at that beautiful cabbage. It's so pretty. So, oh, is that got a little cis guy right here. Oops. Right there. That's a, you know those white moths that you see flying around or whatever? That's the caterpillars they lay. And so they put teeny little holes in all your stuff. So those guys are not your friends. So that guy is not living on the cabbage anymore. And we'll go over to the greenhouse. Let's see. It's such a beautiful day. Oh, we can stop by the herb garden here. Look at all, if this was smell-o-vision, all of this sage smells so amazing. And I've got some rosemary here. Oh, I love the smell of rosemary and sage. And I guess I'll show you my yarrow. So here's my yarrow. It's kind of puttering out a lot of it. But you can still see some of the pretty colors. Don't look over there. That's not as pretty. Okay. So we're in the greenhouse. We'll see if we have any snakes. So I have little snake habitats. Let's see if anybody's in here. Oh yeah, you see the little snake? Hi, buddy. Just a little baby. Okay. I have a lot. I always tell people I have so many snakes on the farm. They're like, no, you don't. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I really do. But that's okay, because as everyone knows, I don't use anything that like I can't grow here on the farm, you know. Like I use the manure, I guess the horse manure, I didn't grow here on the farm. It came from a neighboring farm. But I use the chicken manure mixed in with the wood shavings. I use the fermented nettle, and I'm getting into more like ferments and like the Korean natural gardening and stuff like that. But anyways, back to the tour. Oh, that's what I was saying, was snakes are in the greenhouse. I don't have any slugs at all. And that's because garter snakes love to eat slugs, and I don't like to deal with slugs. And I don't mind garter snakes. They don't bite or anything like that. I've actually sat on them before. So dumb. I was sitting down to pick strawberries, and there were some boxes. I usually leave the boxes because I like to go underneath them. And I felt something moving, and I looked down, and there was like a big old fat garter snake trying to like slink away from like my rear end. And I was like, I'm sorry, buddy, and like moved over to the side, and he took off. Oh, who's that? You are not allowed here, Mr. Rabbit. Go. No. Well, I'll shoo him out later, or maybe he'll go off by himself. Apparently he wanted to be on TV. So here I've just got some baby plants that I've started. They look like they're getting nibbled on, probably by Mr. Rabbit. Lots of thistle, but that's all my eggplant going along there. The eggplant did fabulous. I've grown Italian eggplant in the past and had problems with it sizing up and all that stuff. But the Asian eggplant, fabulous. I've eaten like an eggplant, like prince or queen or whatever, like this whole time. I love the eggplant. But look at these strawberries. These guys have not stopped. Like, and that's pretty good. So, oh, there's that rabbit. Bye, buddy. But like, oh, that's blackberry. I'll cut my finger off. But like, look at these beautiful strawberries. I think the thistle helps them grow. Eye roll in case you couldn't see that through my glasses. And then over here is the basil. It's been getting cold. It's going to seed. Not really doing anything special. This is the Tulsi basil, and back there is some cinnamon basil. And then here are my peppers. So how cute are all of these? Look at these guys. So make sure you can see everything. Yeah. This one grew in like a little circle. I don't know if you could see it. These are all my shishito peppers. Look at all these peppers. The shishito plants did so amazing. I'm really proud of those plants. Plus, I love them. Look at these guys. So pretty. These shishitos are not red yet. These are the little mini like lunchbox peppers. They're really small, like made for kids to snack on. There's like darker ones, red ones, orange ones. There's a grass patch that shouldn't be there. And then down here, these plants these are my early jalapenos, and they really didn't do anything all season. And then recently they've just been like exploding with seed. I think it's or flower, I mean. It's really bad timing because I'm like, but they're managing to put up little itty bitty jalapenos. So, I mean, stuff I'll use. They won't really be sale worthy, but I'll eat them. And I don't remember what that is. I think those are serranos. Oops, well, I just tore that one off. I guess I'll have to try that later. No, they look a little, yeah, I think they are serranos, which I love serranos. Okay, so over here, so that's the side that's doing really well. If you don't want to see ugly plants, just go ahead and get out now. On the other side, everything's basically puttering out. This is all the stuff that's been producing since early on. And so like, these are my cucumbers, and they've given me so many good cucumbers for so long, but you know, it's time for them to throw in the towel. Back there, I didn't do a good job with trellising. I know I always tell everyone to trellis. I got behind a little bit, and so then I couldn't actually get to that area. So it just kind of grew wild. I'll make a video on like things that I learned, but I learned a lot with like intercropping because, so I've got these carrots in here. And the thing is that when I planted or seeded the carrots, the cucumbers were just at like cotyledon stage. And so I thought for sure, because these are quick growing mokum carrots. And so with like the lowest ETM, like in the carrot market, they're also really delicious. They're a little harder to pull out of the ground though, FYI. But so I thought, oh, okay, I'll just like, I'll be able to get the carrots out like pretty close or whatever. That didn't happen. So now I'm just competing with both of them. So I learned a little bit on timing. I've got lime basil over there, but basically, I mean, feast your eyes on meh. You know, the disease started setting in over there. And so it's just kind of sitting at some point when it cools down and I'm not so busy in other areas. Actually, I need to make that more of a priority because I need to tear all this out, get the fava beans in here and whatever else needs to be in here. But yeah, so that's kind of my tour in April. Sorry, I gotta like move my head because I've got like I feed the hose through this. I don't have all the fancy equipment. So I have a dog leash tied and then I bring my hose through here so that way it doesn't like rip up the ends. And then I have the thermometer. It was hanging like that, but now it's just always hanging like that. I'll let you guess how many times I've hit myself in the face with that. You think it would be really obvious? I'm just too busy to notice or something. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tour of my garden. I hope your garden's doing okay. You know, it's okay if disease and all that stuff is setting in on your plants. You know, they're annuals. It's that time of year. You can delay it, of course, but you can't avoid it. You know, if you keep the disease off, the first frost will knock them out too. There's a lot of debate on, because we didn't have a spring, that we might have a long fall. I'll tell you, based on nothing, I'm not hopeful for that. And I think that's more for my sanity, because I feel like if I anticipate that we won't have a really long fall, and we do, I'll be like tickled pink. But like, if we don't, then I'll be like, oh, okay. So I'd rather be like surprised than let down, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's a good approach, but that's the approach I'm taking. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Happy gardening. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, go ahead and post those down in the comments. If you've made it this far, give it a like, please. That always helps my channel grow. But anyways, happy gardening. Bye.